late to the party as usual. That's just me. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Ian McQuaid and today we are talking about WWE Survivor Series War Games 2023. This is my review of the show where we dive into every little detail, everything that happened on the show, and I'll give you my overall thoughts, the way a review works. But before we dive into that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below on War Games and what you actually thought. Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? Let me know everything you want down in the comments as we dive into this. So, Survivor Series War Games. First off, I was pleasantly surprised when I loaded it up on the WWE Network and it was 3 hours long. I was worried this was going to be a long show considering there were 2 War Games matches, but Triple H really knows how to lean down a card and really make it the most efficient wrestling show he can put on. I really like the format of Triple H's shows. I think they fly by, they're an absolute breeze. That being said, I don't necessarily think that Survivor Series War Games 2023 was his best show by far. I think there are a lot of issues with this show. I think it was perfectly fine, and I have some big issues with the War Games matches in particular, and mainly the War Games stipulation as a whole, but we'll get into that when we get to the main show, which is right now, because the first match we have to talk about is the Women's War Game match. A lot of people to run down, and I'm going to do it without trying to look. Okay, here we go. So you had the team of the babyfaces, which was Bianca Belair teaming with Becky Lynch, teaming with Charlotte Flair, teaming with Shotzi, teaming with... Who's the last person? Who is it? That's my fault. There were 4 people in this match. Never mind. That's your good guy team. And the team of the heels, Damage Control, Asuka, Bayley, Kairi Sane, and Io Sky. This match, I thought was pretty good. I think this is where the issue with the War Game stipulation comes into it, though. So I think this was a bit of a plodding match. I didn't think anything was blow away. I think the issue is we've seen a lot of it before. I think there's only so much you can do in terms of spectacle in a War Games match. It all comes down to the various elements of story and the various elements of character, which I think only came into play during sort of the closing section of this match. I can't really put my finger on what it was about these 2 War Games matches, but they just didn't click with me until the final few entrants, and that's when you got all the stuff with Bayley. You got Bayley taking a bullet for, I think it was Io, taking a bullet for Io or Kairi. Might have been Kairi actually. She got a huge spear from Charlotte, and she was the X factor that caused the loss. She put up such a brilliant fight, but then just got hit with finisher after finisher after finisher after finisher, and that put her away. That's going to take her down in Damage Control estimations because she is the one who took the loss, but she's trying so hard to help Damage Control and help Io that it's almost heartbreaking. And I feel like if there was more of that in this match, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I think it's just stuff that we've seen before. Like, yes, Io jumping off the cage with a bin on her head is a brilliant visual, but we've seen that before. I get it's her thing, but we saw it in NXT. I think some of the clunkiness at the beginning was a little weird. Kairi and Charlotte just cannot work together. I don't know what it is, but their communication is just all over the place. I didn't think they worked well together, but Kairi was probably my MVP of this match. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. She was wrestling a Japanese style in a WWE ring. She was hitting people hard, and when I say hard, very hard. When she did the toss elbow drop, the Io assisted elbow drop, it looked awesome. The sliding forearm into, I think, Charlotte into the cage looked incredible. She was my MVP of this match. I'm so happy to see Kairi Sane back. But yeah, haven't run down all the full entrants and the way they came in. But I didn't think there was much strategy to this either, which again played a little bit on my enjoyment of it. But I really liked the finish. I really loved all the Bayley stuff and Bayley taking a bullet for everyone in the match and being that loss. I'm sort of excited to see Bayley leave Damage Control, but at the same time I don't want to, because it's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be a really sad moment. It's going to be really, really sad. I did think it was weird as well that Becky got the win. I think it should have probably been Bianca, considering Bianca was named as the captain. But by the by, big finisher spree. Bayley gets pinned, closes off the match. I think it was okay. An okay War Games match. Next up, we had The Miz taking on Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship in what I think was probably my favourite match of the night. I think I enjoyed this more so than both War Games matches. And I get why, because it's Gunther, and Gunther's incredible. Gunther made The Miz look like $1 million bucks, selling the leg, selling that knee, but then also being that devastating titan when he needed to be, whether it was drop kicking Miz when he went for a springboard, whether it was just nailing a chop on Miz when he tried to make a comeback. And I think Miz showed here he was trying to step up, he was trying to elevate his character and doing a lot of Bryan Danielson moves. He was doing the it kicks a lot, he was doing the kicks to the chest to Gunther. He was trying to show that he is more than just this bullied weirdo that Gunther's portrayed him as. And I really like the story that they told, and I think it was an evenly contested match, but Gunther never showed fear. He never showed that he was afraid of The Miz. He almost respected him, I think, and that was what I liked. A little bit of ambiguity there, but my God, Gunther, just when he goes into his finishing sequences, is just magic, utterly magic. There are a few odd spots here, like I like that they sold the splash, like when Gunther went for the splash and it looked a little bit iffy, saying that he didn't want to land on his knee. Awesome storytelling. Awesome. I really, really loved how well Gunther sold his knee in this match, and it was, probably my favourite match of the night, more so than the War Games matches, which is strange to say on a show built around, War Games. But my God, I really, really love this match. Then, I've not talked about this yet, we had the ongoing story throughout the night, which was that Randy Orton had not shown up. I think this was a odd choice. Obviously, everyone was thinking Punk's going to be here, but I feel like if they'd have announced Randy 3 weeks ago and then played up this story, I think it would have had more of an effect. But the fact that Cody on Raw was like, Randy Orton's coming, and then for some reason he just doesn't show, I think that was a little bit weird. They could have made that story longer, fleshed it out a little bit. Why isn't Randy coming? Why isn't he here? What's holding him back? Is it injury? Maybe we're going to have to go in a disadvantage. I think that would have worked a little bit better than just setting it up on this one show. And then we got the match between Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee, which was sick. Of course it's going to be sick. It's Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. Santos is a great heel. He's so good, and I really like this turn that they've done with him. Turning on Ray and turning on the LWO. I love it. I think he's great at it, and I think Dragon Lee was a good foil for that. I think they both played off each other really well. Santos hit a awfully hard-looking super kick on Dragon Lee that I think popped the lip of Lee. But Lee was just an unbelievable babyface. He was just powering up and fighting through the adversity that Santos was giving him, even though Santos was being the dastardly heel, being the bastard that he is, which led to an awesome, sick finish when Santos hit a Canadian Destroyer and then the Phantom Driver for the win. He won clean. Really good. I'm really happy that he won clean. It would have been easy to have Santos cheat and have the rumoured alliance of Los Lotharios come down. But no, he won clean, cemented himself as a threat on the SmackDown roster. I'm very excited to see what Santos does from here. US champ, please. But I think you've got a lot of people in that mix. If you can set up a really good United States Championship mix with Logan Paul, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, there's a lot of people who can spin in there. Kevin Owens, maybe Grayson Waller. Just so many people in that pot, that United States Championship pot. I think it could make for a really good and entertaining saga from now until WrestleMania. But this was a really good match that cemented Escobar as a top heel. Then you got the match for the Women's World Championship as Rhea Ripley defended her title against Zoe Starks. I really like Zoe Starks. I think she is great. Like, borderline incredible. I think with a few more years, she's going to be a top star of this division. Maybe even a year. She's already a top star of this division because she's having this match on pay-per-view. But I think she's got all the talent in the world. And this match against Rhea, well, not Rhea's best of the year. That's still obviously Charlotte versus Rhea. I think this is probably the best match that I can remember Rhea having in a long, long time. Because Zoe Stark is such a good foil. She presents both power and athleticism by doing springboard moves and, you know, rolling sentons and stuff like that. But then also she squares up to Rhea and you're like, okay, this is business. This is business. It's going to go down. I think she was great. I think she was really good in this match. There wasn't necessarily an incredible story that's been told. There hasn't really been an incredible story that's been told with Rhea's reign as champion. And I think we all knew that Rhea was picking up the win. They had a great closing sequence and a great end when Rhea reversed the, I can't even remember what it's called, Z360? Z360. Yeah, sort of rolling knee strike kind of thing that Zoe does. When Rhea reversed that, hit a huge headbutt and managed to catch Zoe in a riptide for the win. Of course you shouldn't beat Rhea. Rhea is untouchable until probably WrestleMania when you get Becky Lynch or you get a Jade Cargill in there. But this was a really good match. Really cemented Zoe as a top contender. And I'm very, very happy with it. I was very happy with this middle section of the card that sort of bridged the two War Games matches. It was very easily to do a lot of filler. And while you could argue that these matches are filler, they didn't feel like it. They felt substantial, and I really liked that a lot of people were elevated in them. You know, Gunther looked great, Santos looked great, and Zoe looked great. So a lot of people have been elevated in this middle section of the show. And then we had the main event. You had the team of the good guys. You had Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, main event Jey Uso, and Randy Orton against the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre in what was a fun match. I appreciated how sort of reserved this match was. It would have been easy to do a big weapon-filled plunder spot fest, but I can't remember many memorable sort of table spots. I think there was one in the entire match, and there was the one big RKO from the top. But I just think they worked it really well. The story that was most interesting was the Drew Jay stuff, and Drew looking like a caged, terrorized animal on the inside of the shark cage, waiting to get at Jay. I thought they told that beautifully. I think the ending when Randy stares down, it looks like he's going to RKO Jay, was a brilliant tease, and then Jay saves him with a super kick. I thought that was fantastic. The big RKO from the top of the cage, I thought was spectacular and would probably go down as one of the best RKOs in the year, the decade, whatever you would like to say. Highlight, JD McDonough. I love JD McDonough. I love Jordan Devlin. I love JD so much, and he is such a good seller and such a good worker that he is the perfect comedy foil. Even with Dominic there, you know, Dominic got ganged up on by all four of the good guys, which was spectacular to see. Damian Priest had a really good arc of sort of being the leader and eventually being the one who gets pinned, which is what happened at the end. So Randy Orton makes his way down as it looks like Damian Priest is going to cash in because Rhea Ripley runs down to make the save. Randy Orton comes down, hits all his spots, hits a scoop slam. Everyone hits a draping DDT, which chef's kiss. Doing a lot of that though. Lots of moves in the middle. Maybe to stay away from that one for next year. And yeah, he doesn't pick up the win. He gifts Damian Priest to Cody. Cody hits a crossroads on Damian Priest for the win. I don't necessarily think this was a memorable War Games match. I'm happy Cody got to do War Games. It seems like it's always been his dream ever since he said the match beyond in AEW. He's always wanted to do that. And I think it was a satisfying ending. I mean, I've seen some Raw. I know some Judgment Day stuff continues, but getting Sammy, getting Jay, and getting Cody away from the Judgment Day, that's that story done. That's that story done. We've got a lot of other stuff. I have a video about CM Punk, which you can check out right now. We don't need to talk about Punk. Punk came back. There's a lot of ramifications with that. Check out my video to hear my thoughts on that. Overall, I thought Survivor Series was good. I thought it was a solid 3 out of 5 show. I didn't think it was mind-blowing. I didn't think it was terrible. I think it was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I enjoyed my time watching it. There you have it. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you like Survivor Series? Did you hate it? Let me know everything you want down below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.